All righty then. Is it a possibility that you can make big money when your TV ratings get cut in half? Did you hear about Young Rock?
I did not, no.
Apparently, now the wrestling business sucks so bad that people don't even want to watch sitcoms about former wrestlers. No, they changed the night last season. And remember, we talked about this. Young Rock was NBC's highest rated situation comedy. And the premiere was seen by, I think, 5 million people. And the weekly shows were doing like 3 million. Well, this year, they changed it to Friday night from, it was another weeknight last 2 seasons. And the premiere did 1.8 million viewers.
It was on against SmackDown?
Yeah, it's on against SmackDown. And Rampage for all 17 of those people. So they have counter-programmed against the primary audience that would want to see The Rock on television and cut the audience in half. But
that's promising, though.
Well, it could go even further. Jerry?
Shows that NBC realizes that they shouldn't make bad shows a priority. They should try to find good shows.
Oh, come on. It's not The Rock's fault this is a bad program. I'm trying to like it.
It's completely The Rock's fault this is a bad program.
I'm trying to. It just looks like he just bops in and does his pre-tapes and then lets somebody else write the whole show, because whoever's writing this thing don't know shit from apple butter about the wrestling business.
Or comedy. Or entertainment.
Or comedy. Or entertainment.
Or various other things, yeah.
Randall Park is fucking rotten. You know what? Here's the thing. Randall Park could actually replace Alex Marvez on AEW Dynamite, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. He's as phony as a football bat, too. But apparently, Rock lost the election, because now season 3 is Rock has lost the election. The guy named Taft is now President Taft. And The Rock hadn't been seen out in public in a year. He's just living his personal life.
What's up with Taft? What am I missing there with the reference to, obviously there was a President Taft before.
Yes.
What does that have to do with The Rock?
This guy isn't fat. I don't know. It just, they named him President Taft. But anyway. So Randall Park goes to visit The Rock, and The Rock starts flashing back again. After he quotes Teddy Roosevelt, he starts flashing back again.
To his match with Rutherford B. Hayes.
Did you know? And remember, they started talking about this last year, but the way that Rocky Johnson got so much heat with Vince McMahon, that he was not on WrestleMania 1 and indeed never came back to the WWF, is that Rocky took a deal to wrestle that Afa, the Samoan, had set up in Saudi Arabia. But then, because he was under exclusive contract to Vince McMahon, even though those didn't exist in those days, Vince was pissed at Rocky for taking that tour and called him in Saudi Arabia and said, I want you to open up Saudi Arabia as a new territory for the WWF. And so Rocky did. He bailed on Afa's Saudi Arabia tour, and he opened up Saudi Arabia for the WWF, but it was small time. And that was at the same time that WrestleMania went on, so you saw Rocky there wrestling in front of nobody in Saudi Arabia, and you saw WrestleMania going on. Brian?
That's such bullshit. And presenting Rocky Johnson as anything like that is just so, at this point in time, after everything we know, is ridiculous.
Did they run? So, but then now here's the point of the fact of the matter is afterwards at the WrestleMania or the MTV party that they had after WrestleMania, Rocky saw Vince and Vince said, hey pal, why don't you take that knife out of my back? And then still exiled Rocky, even though he had opened up Saudi Arabia. Did they ever run Saudi Arabia in 1985?
Well, to be fair, and I don't remember exactly if it was Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, but they did run some overseas shows where they sent over wrestlers, because that's where Jimmy Snuka got busted with all the drugs taped all around his body.
That's right. It may have been Kuwait. I'm not sure.
It may have been Kuwait. I'm not sure if it was Saudi Arabia. I mean, that's why I'm
Was
questioning
Rocky
now.
Johnson on those tours?
I will find out right now.
Well, while you're finding out, I'll continue. So now, Rocky had he had screwed off of the Samoan who wants to talk to him about this, and Vince wasn't going to give him the time of day anymore, even though he had opened up Saudi Arabia. And in this episode, Rocky is full of himself. Everybody mentioned the biggest continuity error. Vince McMahon came into the MTV party where everybody was there, celebrating their success with 5 o'clock Shadow. The guy that played Vince McMahon came in and he looked like fucking Bull Curry. I don't and Vince has never appeared in his living room without shaving, much less at a public function. However, Becky Lynch is playing Cyndi Lauper, and she's fantastic. She's even got the voice. She took voice lessons to do that voice. And that was good. Now, Hulk Hogan, Lou Albano, Roddy Piper, Fred Blassie, none of these fucking people look anything like those people. None of them. But Becky Lynch is great as Cyndi Lauper. Anyway, by 1988, over this whole Saudi Arabia fiasco, Rocky is wrestling in a car lot in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And the show ends with, in 1997, Rocky being an unpopular babyface and hurting his knee, and continued next week. But this show is all over if you know the timeline and know everybody's life and who everybody is, you can follow the show. If you don't, then you're just trying to figure out what actor is dressed like what wrestling character, and the time periods are all over the place, and it's starting to get confusing.
I'm trying to see what else I can find, but I got Rocky Johnson in Kuwait, March 15th, 85. The matches I have the results for are Jose Estrada defeated Jack Armstrong. The Executioner defeated Archie Reynolds. Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch defeated Don Morocco and Tiger Chung Lee. And Pedro Morales and Rocky Johnson defeated Mr. Fuji. Went to a draw with Mr. Fuji and the Spoiler.
Holy mackerel, that's wrestling in name only.
That's opening up Saudi Arabia, running that show in Kuwait.
In 1985, poor Pedro had seen his better days. And I don't know about Archie Reynolds, but that sounds like something they got a little bit of guaranteed money for and sent the bare minimum to. I guarantee you, if Vince McMahon and the WWF were behind that at all, it was because those shows were bought and they sent them the bare minimum that they bought.
Bought when Vince McMahon needed money the most.
Yes, they didn't fucking send those shows over there to actually sell tickets and draw. So,
what about to open up the territory?
Well, how open did that territory get at that point? Did they ever go back? I remember them going to Kuwait in 1995.
I understand it's the Montana of the Mideast.
Yes, or the Saskatchewan. But I'm just telling you, they have now killed. Wrestling is so unpopular. They've now killed the ratings of the Rock sitcom because there's not enough people to go around. The only people apparently watching the Rock sitcom also want to watch SmackDown on Friday night. Good Lord, would you have picked that? Would you have picked if somebody had made a projection, for example, Brian, that this year the Rock sitcom is going to change nights and drop, the audience going to drop in half? Would you have placed your entry on that?
I think I kind of know what you're trying to say. And I'm pretty sure that if I was given the opportunity to make a projection of whether I think the Rock show would go up or down, being moved to Friday night, I would probably say down and hopefully be able to win some money with this crazy projection.
Well, and there's all things about the crazy projections and the daily fantasy sports and the player projections and the entries, and you're going more or less. Folks, this is not the unsavory type of activity that people used to do in back alleys back in the old days. There's no dice involved in this. You're not going to go to jail. No. This is fine, above board, upstanding sports fantasies that we're talking about here with our friends at Prize Picks. And Prize Picks are the king of daily fantasies because you can have one every day. That's the best thing about fantasies. You never run out of them. And you can make entries on Prize Picks and make player projections based on whether they will do more or less of the thing that they're known for. Now, say, for example, Cooper Kupp. Oh, Cooper Kupp, he's known to score touchdowns. Well, if you make an entry and take Cooper Kupp to score more than one touchdown or less than one touchdown, and he indeed does those things, you, my fine fellow friends, will make money on that. It's all easily explained if you go to prizepicks.com because that's where you do it. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. And you don't have to worry about competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections. Don't worry about competing. Other people might beat you. But here you're you're playing a wall. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch: NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's and women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, NASCAR, tennis, MMA, boxing, disc golf, Euro basketball, cricket, gladiator fights in the Coliseum to the death, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. And if you're steady of hand and able of mind, you can do it even quicker than that. You can make safe and fast withdrawals. No need to pull a weapon on these people. They will give you your money when you want it. And they're currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. All you have to do is download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com and sign up to play. First-time users, bear this in mind. You can get up to a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code JCE. So, if you deposit $100, Prize Picks gives you $100. If you deposit $50, Prize Picks will give you $50. If you try to take some out without putting any in, Prize Picks will come and find you and kneecap you. So don't do that.
No, they will not. Let's have fun with Prize Picks, but let's remind everyone they will be safe and there will not be any physical harm to anyone with Prize Picks.
Well,
correct?
Just don't try to rip these people off, and you'll find out.
You'll find out that they want their money through legal means, but I don't even know how this would work considering how Prize Picks works. I'm just playing with your little game here, but ladies and gentlemen, you don't have anything to worry about.
If you go and knock on Prize Picks' door and you say, hey, I want my money, they'll give it to you. But if you try to take money that doesn't belong to you, they will turn you away accordingly. Don't forget to enter the promo code JCE at your sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. And when there's high money stakes like this on the line, things could get violent. So make sure you got your shit together before you mess with these people. But if you hold up your part of the bargain, they'll deal with you fairly.
No violence with Prize Picks.
That's right. So download that Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. Did we mention the promo code JCE? And you'll get up to $100 deposit match.
Prize Picks.